Hello and welcome. You're watching Cricbuzz Live. My name is Tanay Tiwari. The third T20I between India and South Africa is being played in Indore, the Holkar Stadium. India won the toss and put South Africa in to bat first on a ground which was, well, very short. It seemed like a 45-yard ground altogether. 30 yard ke baad, just that a little bit more space, and the runs scored kind of show you why this ground is so notoriously famous for its scoring rate. 20 overs. 227 for 2 for South Africa. Rilee Rossouw, he came into the series with a lot of form, a lot of promise, couldn't really show it. Ducks for him throughout the series, but now 100 not out of 48 deliveries. Quinton de Kock, the guarantee card that AJ gave us, seems to be proving just right. 68 of 43. Tristan Stubbs got a hit out there in the middle, and then David Miller as well. Just 2 wickets for India, 1 for Umesh Yadav, 1 for Deepak Chahar. I'm joined by Ajay Jadeja, Joy Bhattacharjya. Gentlemen, welcome. And AJ, you kind of feel bad for the bowlers here.
You got to feel for them. You didn't feel bad for our batsmen 2 days ago, right? When we played, where was it? When the first Trivandrum. At Trivandrum, it was another game where the batsmen had to work hard, they had to toil, and they looked all out of sorts. But ever since then, it's been the batsmen who enjoyed the game. I'm with you. It's too lopsided on either of these days. I'm saying even on that day was probably the other extreme, and now we've gone to the other extreme. Yeah. Hopefully at the World Cup we'll have something which is somewhere in the middle. Otherwise it just becomes a running train that once it starts, there is no game happening. Except for Ashwin. You didn't feel like there was ever a stage where a bowler was trying to probably look to get somebody out, or the batsman was even worried about getting out. Because the boundaries are so small.
Yeah, and in their batting today, South Africa, Joy, they showed perhaps the perfect template on how to build a T20 innings, because look at that, the first 6 overs, 48 runs, and then that graph just kept going up. 11 to 15, it did come down by just a bit, but then 16 to 20, the usual service restored. 73 for 1 in the death overs, a perfect batting template.
Yeah, especially they'll be happy with that 10-12 in that 7th to 10th over, because it's really crucial. And India got 2 left-handers in, India got Ashwin in, and Ashwin was bowling well from one end, but there was just nobody at the other end who could control the batting. And I have to say this, that if you actually look at the Indian bowling card, it looks like a bit of a massacre, but there are certain parts out there which I actually like. Like, for example, I thought Siraj's last 2 overs, if you take a look at that, he went for 44, but Siraj's last 2 overs were pretty decent. It went
he gave away only 19 in those 2. 17th and 19th.
And I think those, in a ground like this, he's shown a little bit there. And if you remember, there is a backup spot to Australia probably going to be vacated if Shami comes into the first team. So I think Siraj has pretty much made a case that he could be somebody worth considering in that. You'll have to look at those kind of things, because with the ground where it is, and then after that, of course, Siraj did his fielding efforts did no help to us, given that he managed to give us another 6. And on grounds like this, dropped catches or catches where these mistakes magnify, because just the size of the ground, just the amount of runs scored, so a wicket will makes a huge difference. So every drop catch on a ground like this is like 20-25 extra runs. Maybe not the one in the last over, but the first drop catch definitely was worth.
Yeah, and in this case, the batter AJ was Rilee Rossouw, so it did cost a lot. But the one thing that of course stood out, and Joy's so right. He bowled the 17th and the 19th over. 17th he gave away 8 runs. In the 19th he gave away 11. So that while that scoreline of 4 overs for 44 without a wicket doesn't seem very good, but those 2 overs, and today was his audition, as we were talking about. If you have to have that one player who goes into the reserve slot, it was between Siraj and Umesh Yadav, and today his audition was perfect.
I think you're right. What he did in that 17th over especially was an outstanding one. But only thing I disagree with you is that, we've not had an audition for 1 year. What we've had is rejection, because this fellow's been around for a while. And you've gone back to him. I remember the last time that he played for India was in Zimbabwe, that one-day game. The first 5 overs was magnificent. It's just that, you have not looked at him. You didn't look at Umesh Yadav. You didn't look at Mohammad Shami. The people that you wanted to look in. So it has always been the same case, and now the merry-go-round's gone round many a times, and we've come back, and if it's match to match, then Siraj is the man. He goes. For me, he's always been one of the finest. But then he's got that disadvantages of his fielding or the way his approach is. Had it not been for the last 2 overs, the first 2 overs, In fact, I thought the first 6 that Quinton de Kock hit was off a pretty good ball. It was right in the slot, I mean, where he should be bowling. And he bowled pretty well. And that's what you get from Siraj. So what has happened with Indian cricket is that we've only gone with numbers, and whoever's done well, we've kept. Whoever had a bad game, we've sent them all home in the last year and a half. We've not stuck to somebody and said, look, we want to select this guy. And we've only been rejecting. And this moment, Siraj is perfectly in that queue. And, I would have taken him anyway. And I have no doubts in my mind at this moment, after seeing what has happened today, Rohit Sharma will make sure that he goes ahead to the World Cup without a doubt for me now. Yeah, the way Indian team's going, I'm just assessing how Indian team's done. So I think Siraj is on that trip, on that flight to Australia. I would be surprised if he's not on that flight.
Yeah, correct. And the kind of performance that he pulled out today. And it's very interesting that AJ mentioned that, because Siraj has only played one T20I this year. And as we were talking in the pre-show as well, and I think Joy mentioned, he said he's really come out of nowhere. So for him to come out here and bowl like that, especially at the death where India have been facing problems, was something really spectacular. But right now, I think, Joy, the adjective spectacular today should only sit with Rilee Rossouw. The way he batted, he did get those lifelines, and he did come into the series with a lot of form. But yet, to do that at the biggest of stages against India, this knock will give him a lot of confidence right ahead of the T20 World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it seems full circle to me, because I've been following Rilee Rossouw since 2008. In the team that Virat Kohli, when Virat Kohli won the World Cup, the Under-19 World Cup, Rilee Rossouw was in the other team, and he was regarded as a talent in the South Africans, just like we regarded Virat as a talent. And in 2009, the reason, again, I say, because we were playing games for KKR, we were playing practice games against Orange Free State in those days, Free State. And Rilee Rossouw came on and smashed the likes of Ishant and Charles Langeveld all over the ground. So he was regarded as a prospect in South Africa. And then he suddenly, till 2014, he was struggling to get a chance here and there, never made it. Then he decided to go to England, forget it, do Kolpak, make some good money in the sea. And because of Brexit, that's cancelled. He's come back. What a journey. Just look at the journey for the player. And today, again, he's come to India, hasn't got form. He's got a couple of 90s in this form. He's got a 90 in this form of the game. Suddenly to get this chance, big opportunity. And of course, the fact that you're doing it in India with, the IPL teams obviously watching very carefully, it doesn't hurt anyone at all. More importantly, see, the teams will watch everything. The team's owners might watch this game. Which is more important for the player, because they're going to turn and say, that Rilee guy, why aren't we picking him? He's done his chances no harm.
Yeah, correct. We've got PP in our Hindi studios. We should check his call logs. Perhaps he's got a call or two as well. Yeah.
I totally agree with Joyda, what he just said. I mean, that's how it's been. There'll be owners who would probably look at him. But you got to give credit to South Africa. I mean, a couple of things. When they've started this first series, they brought him back straight in, and they've left out somebody who was scoring a lot of runs. Then he gets 2 zeros in a trot. How often do you see teams, rejecting players? Here's another, example of somebody who stuck by them, and then he's totally paid off today, and he's batted brilliantly. He's shown what he's capable of doing. He's done it over the leagues. But unless you do it, against India, against the international teams, you don't get that acceptance. Now he'll get that acceptance, and no doubt here again, he'll be part of the next IPL.
Yeah, correct. And to do it also right on the cusp of the T20 World Cup will give him and South Africa a lot of confidence. Let's have a quick look at their batting order as well. And there, the guarantee card seems to be working, AJ. Quinton de Kock seemed to be batting on another planet today. If you compare his knocks previously in this series, today he seemed to be in full flow as guaranteed.
Yeah, but he played well, because, he got that knock yesterday. He got, the same number of runs that he's got for the rest of the year. There is a change in the mindset, and batting is, a lot to do with mind. And we keep talking about it with many other people. And here's an example for you to see. Although, having said that, a couple of things worked for him. For one, that he'd got runs in the last game, so he's had spent time in the middle. 2, he comes out to bat on a wicket, and the ground that you were mentioning, is one of the finest to start. Then who does he have to face first off? The guys who've not been part of this team for a couple of years, or, played one game in the last 1 year for India. So that man is walking in or running in thinking differently. So the mind from one being down and out for Quinton de Kock throughout the year, goes up, and then he's facing a guy who's coming back to make a place into that Indian side, or has been flown in from England where he was playing county cricket. So when things start going your way, you get things like that. So that guarantee card worked, and now no more guarantees. Finish. World Cup is
okay.
on,
Now the World Cup is upon us.
Yeah. Now guarantees are over.
Yeah. So
because you don't know. It's becoming really difficult to watch these teams and follow these teams, because otherwise you have some sort of why they're doing something, why they're thinking. But now it just seems to be random, match by match. You just change your whole thought process. Yeah. So it is actually going to get very difficult to give you another guarantee card, because two of our batting guarantees who are batting brilliantly and who you want today to chase down that 220 are giving guarantee cards with some ad somewhere.
Yeah, let's have a quick look at India's playing 11. Of course, India will be chasing down this huge target, 228. And the bad news there is that Rohit Sharma has been dismissed right as I speak. Rishabh Pant, of course, opening alongside him. India are playing a batter shot because KL Rahul and Virat Kohli both are not there, but they did bring in an extra bowler. Quickly, gentlemen, power play predictions. Now that I've given you some sort of a cheat sheet with Rohit Sharma gone, Joy?
I'll go for 51.
51. AJ?
You'll need more than that, but I feel sorry for the birthday boy. When he comes back to find his place in the side, he's got to chase 227, and the captain has already left. Because captain's got enough runs to throw that bat and go, but Rishabh Pant will have to fight it out. So maybe 49.
All right, I say 55. I say Rishabh Pant gets a big knock today as well. But that's all that we have for you on Cricbuzz Live right now. We'll, of course, see you at the end of 10 overs on Cricbuzz Combox. Right now, it's time to go and enjoy the chase. Thank you, AJ. Thank you, JB, for joining us. Thank you to all of you as well. See you soon.
Pleasure.